There we go, and welcome to Get Out and Grow, our Expats Portugal gardening Q&A. The head gardener is around somewhere. Let's bring him on as well as Anna and John from the Fresh Air team who are on.
Hello.
As well. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
Cold
and wet.
There we are.
Okay.
Yeah, marvellous. All right. So this is the opportunity for you to put your gardening questions in. We have our head gardener on the screen. On my bottom left, I presume he is on yours as well. Let's put him top left as head gardener. And questions to Lee. We'll also look at what's been happening in the group in the last week. Our Get Out and Grow Happy Homesteaders group. And let's have a quick go round in the group, see how you're doing, and see if you've been able to get out in the garden this week in the UK. Anna, have you had any luck, any joy in the garden?
It's been a bit quiet lately. It's been I say incredibly wintry. It's been pretty much wintry without the snow. It's pretty chilly temperature wise at the moment. So it's been a bit quiet, but I'm hoping to get out there and work on it a bit in the week if I can, and hoping for some more warmer weather. But that probably won't be till spring. So I'll get out and brave it. I'm a hardy gardener, so.
Very good. What about you, John?
Pretty much the same here, to be honest. It would have been nice to try and do something, but there wasn't that much that could be done apart from making sure things like geraniums were in a bit of a warmer place than right outside. So some of them ended up in the kitchen yesterday evening, actually. But yeah.
Very thoughtful. Yeah, you've got to look after the things that might cop it in the freezing weather, haven't you?
Yeah.
Very good, very good. Okay, I managed to put my sweet potatoes that I bought, as Lee suggested, in some water, so they're ready to roll. And mainly, I have been shredding again because we've got the sheep, as I think I mentioned, got two sheep, well, sort of lambs turning into sheep, and the 8 chickens who are all going out in the meadow. Much further than they normally would. The sheep have got this great big enclosure and the chickens have been out with them. And they love being together. It's like a ladybird book out there with the 2 sheep and the 8 chickens. And the 8 chickens, with the improved or more varied diet from all their foraging, they are producing eggs aplenty, even in this cold weather, which I'm really impressed with. So that's the extent of my gardening, apart from Miss Shoo, which I want to show you.
That must be excellent news for you, Carl.
Oh, John, I think that may be the first of many such corny puns from the garden today. Let's hope so.
Yes.
Anyway. And let's go to the man who has to be in the garden. He's not fair weather like us. He's living, relies on it. Lee McGrady's here, everybody, our head gardener. What have you been up to in this last week, Lee?
Fortunately, not a lot. We're on confinement, so I'm stuck at home for a week.
Okay, just trimming your bonsai.
I haven't got any bonsais in Portugal.
Right.
So I've got nothing in the house.
All right.
It's
so
just me.
Very frustrating for you then, an outdoor guy who would you have my sympathies. That sounds very difficult for you, but thank you for being here tonight and answering a few questions. We've got some lovely questions and comments and contributions in our Facebook group. I'll put the link up to that in just a moment. But you put something up great earlier on today, Lee, about mint and loads of reasons to grow mint. Do you want to go into that now?
It's all self-explanatory, isn't it? Mint, it's good for everything. It's good for your health. It's good for the garden. You can do a lot with it. It's dead easy to grow. It's easy to germinate, and it's easy to give away.
People are terrified.
It should be. And rightly so. If you don't keep control of it, it'll go wild.
Yeah.
It's easy to contain. You can put it in containers. It'll grow anywhere. It should be a staple in everyone's diet, and it's good for cooking with as well. So.
Yes, and for those who like a cocktail, it's part of the what's that lovely cocktail?
Part of the D&D. Yeah.
Yeah, you can put it in drinks as well, can't you? I mean, if you're into that sort of thing, of course. First question has come in tonight. Oh, sorry, that was our Facebook group, the Get Out and Grow and the Happy Homesteaders. And now part of the project is encouraging people with disabilities, with accessibility issues, and people struggling in this lockdown, quite frankly, because there's a big mental health challenge. We want to encourage people with Get Out and Grow to get out into the garden or even just onto the balcony. We're really pleased with all the contributions into the group, but we haven't really reached out and made much contact with people with disabilities, with accessibility issues. So we're here for you. if you want to talk to us, if you want to ask questions to get you started in the garden, John was suggesting maybe we have a bit of a specific session on that next week to encourage more people. So remember, we're here for you for that. But otherwise, in the group, lots of lovely contributions and a question coming in. I think we're going to get known for having a bit of a Q&A on a Monday night. Sean's here. Hey, Sean. We featured Sean on the show last week and his beautiful house in Castelo Branco, central Portugal. When is a good time to prune a lemon tree? So lemon tree pruning, Sean. What's the best time to do that?
Oh, is that directed at me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The best time is when it's most dormant, which we've just passed. Actually, it's just gone by.
Okay.
You should always be looking at your lemon trees because they have a habit of sending out like a sucker shoot, a shoot that's never going to produce fruit. They can be cut off any time of the year. You can tell the difference because it's very pale compared to the rest of the tree, and it develops little spikes on them underneath the leaf. If you imagine the leaf, the little spike will be underneath it.
All right.
They can come off every time you see one. Normally come from around the base of the tree and on the main trunk. And as I say to everybody, you should be looking at your plants all the time, looking for dead, damaged and diseased. They can be pruned off anytime.
Uh-huh.
But if you're looking more for shape, if you're hoping to prune it better for shape and for size, then it should be just before it flowers. Now I know mine have already flowered, so I've left ours, but depending where you are in Portugal.
Yeah.
So in its dormancy, so maybe 2 months ago, unfortunately.
And so now is it dangerous to do it now? So if you've missed the opportunity in the dormant period,
it's not dangerous because we don't get the heavy frosts or anything like that here. It's just better for the tree.
Okay.
If it needs to be pruned for shape, go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Make sure you take your lemons off first that you want to eat.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm so surprised. When I first got to Portugal, there's so many citrus fruit trees on there in Portugal, and you think, why do people leave that fruit on there when they could eat it? And it's just because of the sheer abundance, isn't it? I'm in that same condition now. I don't go out and pick all the possible oranges and satsumas and clementines, etc., because I can. It's almost like it's like acorns falling or conkers falling from a tree in Britain. It's just what happens, and people don't really get excited about it here, do they?
Well, my garden is on a busy main road, the road that leads down to one of the local beaches. And last year, I salvaged some vegetable crates from the local veg shop, and I left them outside the gate. And every time I was harvesting, I would put the extra on the street, and it always disappeared. People were stopping the cars and taking them.
Oh, how lovely! That's the best way to do with it.
So, yeah. So I mean, we weren't putting out there for money. I know some people do, but we have that much. We've got 9 fruit trees, oranges, and lemons. So it's all got put on the street, and people were happily taking it.
Oh, lovely. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you for that. The pruning guide for lemon trees. Any more questions, Sean? Put them in on the screen. That's fantastic. Joel's here from Porto in Portugal tonight. He's a real Portuguese guy, and I wonder if that extends to being a gardener as well. Most Portuguese men of a certain age like to have a bit of a garden. I wonder if Joel is still keeping up that tradition. Do let us know. A Facebook user, anonymous so far. Oops, nearly missed this. No notification. I don't know what that will be about, but we'll see what we can do about that for next week. Let us know who you are and if you have any questions. Anna, if we could reiterate that fantastic question, because I've got a contribution to it that you put up. Has anyone had any plant discoveries? What were you thinking there? And do you want to elaborate on that question?
I think I was. I think originally when I was sort of thinking of the idea, I think I was. Actually, I suppose if people are out and about getting plants as well, I was just sort of thinking if anyone had come across like a mystery plant, either that's come up in their garden at home or they've come across a plant that they might have bought somewhere that hasn't got a label on it or something. And I was just I was just thinking yes, if there are any mystery plants that you've been sort of really impressed with and have sort of continued growing, or yeah.
I have a definite contribution to that. Before I offer that, John Cunningham was quick in with what he's found. And this is one of those lovely discoveries that you find. And we'll see if Lee can recognise this one. Put him on the spot a little bit.
I can't even see that. I'm on my telephone.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
I'm on my telephone, so that picture's really small and my eyes aren't that good.
That is too much on the spot for Lee there. But John said, if I go to his comment in the group, yes, got a beautiful mullein plant. I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. Mullein has self-seeded in my planter bed. So that's one of those lovely surprises you get, isn't it? You forget all about it. You haven't planted it purposefully. Looks to me like it grows like a lupin in that sort of style, with a lot of foliage at the bottom and a great stalk coming out. That's going to be, or hollyhocks have a similar kind of vibe to them as well, don't they? But mullein there, John's put forward. Thank you very much for that, John. That'll be a beautiful inclusion coming out of your planter. For me, the thing I've discovered since being in Portugal, and this is a tricky thing because it's green and I've got a green screen, is this. I don't know if you'd seen these, Lee, before you came to Portugal, the shushu. I'll put it right up close.
My screen is so small, I can't see what you're holding, unfortunately.
Sorry, mate, but it's a really kind of alien-looking plant. And I first saw it hanging at high level because it's got these great tendrils that come out. The amazing thing about this, I mean, I saw it in the street first of all, then saw it in the garden here, and then started buying them or getting them from the garden because it's like it's a bit like a potato crossed with a marrow. So you do get that kind of potato-y quality where you can boil it and mash it, but not quite as starchy and a bit more watery than a potato. So yeah, you know, it makes quite a nice mash, got quite nice roasted. You got to know what to do with it. You know, olive oil, salt and pepper, roast it. It's quite nice, but it so wants to grow. This one I pulled out of the veg basket at home, and it's got this much growth on it already. And one of the tendrils had wrapped itself around an electric cable as well. It is so keen to grow. And of course, we've lost Lee there. That can just be put in the ground now, and I'm sure it will continue to grow, and we'll end up with another shushu creeper. So that's CHU, pronounced shushu, not choo-choo. You don't sound like a steam train. You pronounce it shushu with a soft sh, which I've grown to. I've loved the discovery, and I want to grow it myself, along with me sweet potatoes that will be putting in. Joel, not much of a grower, more of a city lad. And Sean, thanks for that pruning advice, Lee. The tree is growing in sand at our beach house. That's amazing, isn't it? Close to Marinha Grande there. And Facebook user is Fiona Worrell, who loves the mullein and the wavy leafed mullein as well. So some appreciation for the mullein there. When Anna was asking what are the discoveries you've made, has anyone had any plant discoveries? And that's it for now. Maybe Fiona contributed there actually. She says, I used to think I was pretty up on all the wild growing herbs in UK. Portugal is so different. So many orchids growing wild here. My favourites so far are the bee orchid. Also, a friend once grew something from own seeds, turned out as a cross between cabbage and broccoli, which had produced little tiny pea pods with seeds. Cabbageocoli. I still have some of his seeds, although haven't had much luck growing them, as the blackbirds here relish the seedlings. That's a problem that Donna Jacqueline was talking about, wasn't it? The pesky blackbirds taking all her stuff in the garden. So yeah, thank you for that. Thanks for that question, and more questions like that, gratefully accepted in the group. Nigel, nice to see some flowers coming out on the favas, on the broad beans. So they go in the autumn of last year, did they, Lee? Is that the best time?
Yeah, that's when I put my peas and beans in. Yeah, they went in. When would it have been? It would have been, I think it was quite last. When was late December?
Yeah,
or early December. It was early December, and they're just coming to fruit now.
And that,
but you can get your peas in. If you get peas in now, they should be harvestable just before the real heat starts, which is what kills them off here in Portugal.
Oh, okay. All right.
So you could actually start peas and beans now. in Portugal.
I will. Okay, so all kinds of peas and beans across the board.
Across the board, pretty much, yeah.
All right, good to know. I found a fruit. This is Fiona again, I think. Size of a largish avocado, paler green, and has a dimpled skin. Thumb-sized dimples. Any ideas? Sorry, no photo. It would be great if you can. Pop it in next week. Does that ring any bells, Lee?
Yeah, it does, and I can't think what it's bloody called. It grows on a tree. If it grows on the tree, I know which one it is, and it'll come to me. It'll come to me. I'm not thinking about it.
Okay.
A bit of a mindful, but I think I know what she means.
And it's a fruit discovery by the sound of it. Then, okay, interesting. Thank you very much for that. Okay, go on, mate.
Can I just get in? There's a great app that I use on my telephone called Picture This. You simply take a picture of the tree, the fruit, the plant, and it'll give you the name, but it also gives you some little facts about it as well, which not all the apps do. So that app's called Picture This. All really worth, and it's free. It's completely free. That's really worth looking up.
Let's I'll share that on the screen now so that people can see what we're talking about. But what an amazing bit of technology.
Picture This. Oh, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah. Coming from England, I knew I was going to hit problems with identification of plants here.
Yeah.
So it was the first thing I did. I found the best one I could find.
Yeah.
And it's worked really well for me. I don't use it very often anymore, but a lot of it, the stuff I've saved. But it gives you indicators for care and the sort of soil that some of the plants like. Not all of them, but the main ones. It gives you a rundown on what they like.
Amazing. 3 million users, 500,000 questions answered by users. That sounds like an amazing community. And Picture This free in the App Store and Android available on Android. And John, what was that?
Indeed, and I suppose we should just say that other apps are available.
Indeed.
But that's my favourite one.
Yes.
Were you going to be asking about whether many people were growing potatoes tonight, John? Not growing potatoes.
I thought it would be an interesting way for people to chip in to find out if anyone's growing potatoes. Yes, but yeah, how many of you are growing potatoes?
Did everyone hear that? An interesting way for people to chip in. Okay, watch out for that. We need a kind of tumbleweed or a mwah, mwah, mwah sound effect, I think. So there you go. Picture This. That's a really nice resource there. Identify 99% of common species, 10,000 plus species in our searchable database with an accuracy of 95%. What a fabulous bit of technology. When people complain about the modern world, that's one of its blessings. Okay, another question from, hey, Anna, how are you over there in Cascais? Do you know Dama de Noite, maybe Night Lady, a perfume plant that scents lovely? Oh, smells lovely, but they say it's poison. Do you know that one, the Night Lady?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And is it poison?
I've never tried it, so I wouldn't recommend trying it. Okay. There seems to be a lot of the night scented stock and the very similar family. It's one of my favourites, and there seem to be a lot here in Portugal compared to back in England. But it is the same. Yeah, it's the same family as nightshade stocks. But they're lovely. They're lovely, and no, I wouldn't try to eat them.
And we should say, shouldn't we, on that note, and you said it before, because when we were talking about fungi and mushrooms, like if in doubt, just don't do it, right?
It's just not worth the trouble. No.
Yeah.
Especially with mushrooms. Yeah. If you really don't know what you're talking about, don't look at them.
It's not worth taking a risk. It's not worth taking a risk. You could be hospitalised, and it's not a good look. It's not a good idea. So we do have a picture of the Night Lady, and very beautiful she is too. I think this is the plant you're talking about, Anna, on the screen there from Wikipedia. I mean, it's orchid-like, isn't it? Very beautiful. And I wonder if you could let us know. Give us your kind of scenting notes there. What does it smell? Is it a bit like the what is it? Honeysuckle? Is it that kind of heady type aroma, Anna? Let us know. Another question coming in. I've got 3 rows of potatoes in, main crop, own saved. Very good. I think some got frosted though, and just about to plant some early. So still a bit risky, right? Planting at the moment.
Yeah. I intend to start all my planting over the next 2 weeks. Well, my seeding and my planting will start as soon as I'm out of isolation.
Yeah,
I'll be on it. But we've had the frost that we had the last few weeks has really done for a lot of the overwintering plants. So unfortunate for those that started early, they would have felt the pain. So I intend to do my first earlies.
Yeah,
my first early potatoes will go in within the fortnight.
All right.
Yeah,
and that's at the end. That's to celebrate the end of your confinement. There is it.
Oh God, yes, I can't wait.
I mean, I didn't ask you. I mean, I'm presuming it's positive tests in your house, but asymptomatic. I hope so, Lee.
Well, I had a bit of a sniffle last week, and I just put it down to being out in the rain a lot and my usual winter cold. But my partner is a nurse at one of the city centre hospitals.
Yeah,
and she started with a sore throat on Thursday, tested on Friday, and tested positive. So we've just locked ourselves in for the next 10 to 12 days.
Well
Excuse
done.
me, I'm going to cough now.
I'm sorry to hear.
So it's just.
Well, take it easy. Take it easy, and get well soon. But we'll have the best of the group, I reckon.
There's a lot of people in a lot worse conditions. So touch wood, we're doing okay for them.
All right. Well, take care, both of you. Lots of love from this part of Portugal to yours. A lot of Dama de Noite, especially in the Algarve, and you can notice it from more than 100 meters away. It's lovely, the smell, says Anna. I mean, that just reminds you, doesn't it, of being on holiday in the Algarve and in the height of some of that sort of heady scent. Getting you at 100 meters. Isn't nature amazing? Miraculous. I'm learning about mushrooms. I think this is Fiona still. But yep, always triple check IDs and never, ever just risk it. Underlining the potential danger there. Okay, so what else is going in, Lee? You said when you're back out and frisky again outdoors after your confinement. What else is going in the ground?
Well, if you're in Portugal at the moment, you should be preparing your ground, getting rid of all the weeds because it's that time of year. Preparing your soils. The same in England. If you can get out and dig the ground over now, that heavy frost and cold weather will kill off all those bugs and help break down the soil, break it down into a workable sizes. So it's quite good to dig over in the bad weather in the UK.
Okay.
But I'm gonna start pretty much at all my main crop seedings. Will start within the next 2 or 3 weeks. So definitely my tomatoes and my peppers because I like them to go early. Definitely the potatoes, they'll be going in. My onions will be going in. Because I want to get them done early to get them before the hot weather starts. I like to try and get 2 or 3 sets of onions in and stagger it, so you're not overdone with onions all at one time.
Yeah.
But pretty much everything can be started over the next month. We can pretty much start all our main summer crops.
Exciting.
You should be. I'm going to this week because I'm stuck at home. I'm going to start saving my kitchen scraps as well. So anything like the crown of lettuce and anything like that, because they can be reused, they can be replanted.
Oh, I see. Not just for composting. This is to save the parts of the vegetables that will grow again.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Lettuce, celery. Celery is a great one. That's a great one. When you cut off your main stem, the little bit at the end, the little root bit, pop it in a bit of water. As soon as the roots start to come up, pop it in your soil, and you'll get a good head start. Then you see, you're not planting a seed, you're planting a growing crop.
Yeah.
So they might not grow as good as a seed, but they'll definitely be useful.
Yeah.
But you'll get 2 weeks, 3 weeks early. So that's well worth looking at this time of year as well.
Fantastic. All right. That's a whole kind of area of discovery, isn't it? So maybe we could do some more of that in the group. Research maybe things that will grow again from the cuttings like that. Sorry,
Maybe I'll do a video on in the house this week.
Oh, terrific. Okay, you were going to add something else there before I interrupted you.
I was just saying, with me being stuck in the house this week, maybe I'll do a video on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just,
Brilliant.
A video I can do from home.
All right. Talking about being housebound, from Anna here. Help is needed. How to keep parsley and coriander fresh in a small vase in the kitchen. Mine's always died, she says. So you need some green thumb advice there.
Mine always die as well on the balcony. The stuff that you buy from the supermarkets, they're not designed to last. The containers they come in aren't really adequate for keeping them in. They need to be potted out rather quickly into a bigger space to let the roots grow.
Yeah.
And they need a lot of water. They're very thirsty.
Okay.
So you need to keep the feet wet all the time.
Anna, you mustn't blame yourself. I've often wondered that, because you can buy those beautiful herbs at the supermarket, can't you? Great big head of basil, the parsley, the coriander, and it comes in a little pot. And you think, well, I can keep this going for ages. But once you've actually trimmed it and eaten it, it won't survive, and that's for the reasons you've given.
Yeah. They're just the supermarkets don't want you to keep them at home.
Of course.
It's as simple as that. They don't want to sell you anything that's going to last.
Yes.
So the trays are coming in poor quality. The compost they come in is poor quality.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are fed by liquid nutrients. So the actual compost you can come in can be virtually sterile.
Yes.
And you think you can save it in that, knowing they know that you can't. It needs to go. It's potted straight away before you start to harvest it.
Okay. So if you manage to get a good crop growing in the garden, you could reverse that process. You could chop some of it out of the ground and bring it in for a few weeks in the kitchen, but you can't keep those herbs going forever on a balcony or in the kitchen. They need room and they need a lot of water.
Well, you can keep them going. I've done it successfully here on mine a couple of times. But they need to be, when you're buying from the supermarket, it needs to be potted on straight away.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to give them a few weeks to let the roots get settled in the new compost before you start to harvest them.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And
they need space, and they need plenty of water.
Okay. And basil is all right at the Vieira household. It's just the parsley and coriander. I hope that helps, Anna. Going back to talking about onions and planting onions, can we address this that came from the group? Onions, I forgot some onions from last year still in the ground. They're looking pretty good, but what's going to happen to them now? Do they just run to seed? Will they pop out some baby onions? Any advice, please, on forgotten crops like onions?
Yeah, I've got some onions that I've left in from last year as well. Now they're only maybe table tennis size at the moment. And I've been keeping an eye on them, making sure they don't bolt. Because once it sends up the flower stem, then the plant won't grow anymore. The bulb won't develop anymore past that. So as soon as it starts to bolt, you need to harvest them, because they're going to start to disintegrate. But if it doesn't bolt, if you've been lucky, you can just leave them in the ground, and they'll split, and they'll develop into maybe 4 or 5 different tubers, which then can be separated and planted separate. So that's what I'm hoping to do with mine that I've left in. Okay. I'm hoping that they'll split, and I can then split them myself and roll them on into good onions.
So you're waiting for that bolting point. You don't want that to happen, but as long as they haven't bolted, they should be right under the ground.
Yeah, they should be fine. If they haven't bolted, leave them, and they'll separate into 3 or 4 separate plants, which then can be split and developed on to make more onions.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Terrific.
As soon as the flower comes up, take them out.
And if they do bolt, then you've got your seeds, haven't you? If you want to grow them from seeds,
you can do, but I've never had much success with it, and I know a lot of other people haven't.
Okay.
They don't. They don't always. They're not always true to type onions, so it's better just the onion seeds are so cheap. Just buy new seeds.
Okay.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah, and I noticed in my Pingados there are those lovely biological biodynamic seeds at the moment that are really good value as well. So Pingados have got a beautiful seed collection right now. Thank you. That was Nigel's question, I think. Thanks for answering that one. And a little bit of advice from Fiona, I think. Pot up, shut bought into 8-inch or larger pots. My basil has passed its best, but lasted a year. Wow. Now rooting cuttings.
Fantastic.
That is great, isn't it? The thyme and coriander were potted up too and are now outside in the herb bed. If in containers, water from the bottom, outside, don't overwater.
Yeah.
They like to keep dry before they keep. Okay, so keep their feet wet.
Keep the feet wet.
Yeah, but do it from the bottom and let the top dry out. Okay, good stuff. Anna, John, sorry if I haven't given you the chance to ask anything. If there is anything you do want to ask, in fact, so do jump in, shout out if there is anything. Because you know how I tend to dominate.
I sort of feel I've got a whole load of ones written down, but I can't remember which ones I've asked. But one's just come into my head from it's possibly going a bit down the sciencey route. But with seeds, I could only think of a sunflower as an example. But seeing how small seeds can get, particularly poppy seeds, which are sort of minuscule, how does a whole plant fit inside such a small space, if you like? I mean, seeing that sunflowers can go up to about 10 feet tall and they're in a seed that's about that big.
It's a miracle, isn't it?
My son is now 16 and he was only that big at one point.
I feel a song coming on. It's like a circle of life. Yeah, it's just miraculous. What's your thought on that, Anna, yourself? As you've pondered that brilliant question?
I think I'm still working at it. I think I'm going through the phase at the moment of asking a whole load of questions and not actually knowing the answer myself. So yeah, I might give that on the thought and get back onto that one. I guess it's just sort of nature just sort of showing how powerful it can be, I guess, and just knowing it's full of surprises, and yeah, I guess it's just a natural process, literally.
Yeah, and literally.
When I first started work for the government, I'd be about 15, 16. One of my first jobs was collecting the corns off the local oak tree. And they've now developed into fine big trees 30 years later. And that's all from a tiny acorn. And it is fascinating. To think about it, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we do we really? We kind of take a lot of this for granted, and we have a very sort of mechanical mindset, don't we? And a rational mindset in the modern age. But just to consider that, what Anna said there, that, from a sunflower seed, something as tall and beautiful and amazing as that grows. And not only that, but then the head of it is made of hundreds more seeds. It is truly miraculous and incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that moment of awe and wonder there, Anna. Back down to earth, literally, with another question about fruit tree advice. I was wondering if any of you fine folks, this is from the group, might know where I could get my grubby mitts on the following: Tamarillo, feijoa. Oh, feijoa, that was a fruit that I was introduced to last year. Lemon trees, lime trees, persimmon, pomegranate, as well as that little, also looking for canes as well, such as blueberries and raspberries. Where'd you get your trees and canes from, Lee?
I have a very good relationship with 2 garden centres in my area. I'm quite fortunate to go in and ask for things and have them found for me.
Oh, great.
But I believe a lot of the supermarkets are doing the trees at the moment. I believe they're just coming in.
Yeah.
I've heard on the grapevine, as they say.
Well, hey.
Yeah, you got the pudding for you. So I would always recommend looking at supermarket stuff. It's cheap. It's normally bare rooted, but yeah, it's good enough if you can get it early. Get a good size.
Bare rooted. What's that?
If I was buying a tree personally for me, I'd want something that had an established rootstock to it. Yeah. So it was in a container.
Yeah.
But the stuff you buy from the supermarkets, it's just loose in a bag, and there's no soil on the roots. They've had no protection. So that's bare rooted stock would be something that's come. naked without soil.
Right. Okay. All right. And I know
it's not sorry.
So the markets as well in Portugal are pretty good, aren't they, for trees? You know, the town markets. And, you know, and there's a little book. Is it called the Borda d'Água, the little market guide, which tells you what markets on? And obviously, at the moment, you can't travel too far. But yeah, actually, look, little local town markets will have trees and fruit canes at the right time for planting in your area. So worth checking on your local town market, or when we're allowed to travel around. Go because it's always a nice morning out going to a market in another town nearby. That's a really good tip, Fiona. And adding there, similar to what Lee said, the group of cells. This is going back to your philosophical question, Anna. The group of cells inside the seed keep duplicating again and again as the plant grows. Incredible nature, isn't it? Absolutely. Fiona, thank you very much for that. John, I think we were considering another question earlier on, weren't we? Why are gardeners so rich?
Yes, because they're raking it in.
Oh my goodness. Okay. More where that came from.
Yes, and there was another one we had earlier, wasn't it? That was, what is the most famous gardening tool in Devon?
I don't know, John. What is the most famous gardening tool in Devon?
A Plymouth hoe.
Well played, sir. Okay. That's a wincer, isn't it? Lee is wincing visibly there on screen. And in Portugal, yes, the guide to markets, Borda d'Água, is a classic. Why it's called, Anna would know this. Why is it called Borda d'Água? But it is an amazing book. It really is part of the fabulous traditions of Portugal. All right, I've got 5 minutes left. Any tips, Lee? Anything we should be thinking about, looking out for in this coming week? I was looking at the weather, and we've got rain, and more rain.
It's going to be plenty of rain.
Right.
Really, it's that time of year when you should be preparing your beds.
Okay.
It's like the time of weeds at the moment in Portugal. All the weeds are coming through, and they'll be taking all the nutrients out of your beds. So you need to be clearing your beds and prepping them ready for seeding. So adding your manure now is a good idea. Get any manure or compost you're going to add it now. Give it time to settle before the seeds go in. But just a big tidying up time as well. It's slugs and snail time this time of year. So all those little bits of pots you've got lying around where the slugs might be hiding underneath, get everything tidied away and get rid of those bugs.
Yeah. That's a treat for the chickens, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. The chickens will love it.
Yes. Yeah. I think we were talking about eating snails as well a couple of weeks ago, and I actually found some in Lidl. I didn't find snails walking about in Lidl. I found some, like, you know, the product garlic buttered snails, and they were fantastic, I have to say. I hadn't had them for like, I don't know, maybe 40 years or something like that, and I really enjoyed them, finding them in Lidl and freaking the kids out, actually cooking, you know, warming them up in the oven and then saying, "Ta-da! This is for dinner tonight." And it was lovely to see their little faces confronted by some snails in garlic butter. Lee, before we go, just you mentioned about giving the garden a dig over, because you know the gardeners are split on this, aren't they? Like no dig methods and digging. Is the idea of digging it up to expose the soil to the cold weather, so you kill off the microbes you don't want? Is that what's behind the theory?
Yeah.
Right.
If you turn your soil over this time of year, it allows the frost to get in. It kills the bugs. It also breaks down the soil to make it more free draining come the spring.
Okay.
I know a lot of people that have gone for the fad of no dig gardens, and it's not for me. I like to work, so
okay, all right.
I like the grass that comes with it.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
And then, so if you're not digging, how I mean, people are then putting cardboard over the weeds instead, because there are people who don't like to graft, aren't there? There are people who are of the opposite persuasion, who like to just maybe take it a bit easier in the garden and do as little work as possible for the maximum yield. What are they doing at the moment, and how are they getting rid of the microbes?
I have no idea, because I have no idea what they're doing. They're sat watching TV with their feet up instead of digging.
Sat on their green thumbs.
No,
yeah.
There's going to be a slow build up. The microbes, a lot of the microbes are good, and you want them there anyway. So there'll be a slow build up. So you'll get away with the no dig for maybe 2 or 3 years, and then you need to change your plot, and you need to move around your space more, and give it time to rest.
Yeah.
Maybe do the no dig in one area for 2 years, then move your grow to another area and plough that over and let the frost in. I don't think it's sustainable over a long period of time.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thanks very much, Lee. Lee is hireable, of course, works around the Lisbon area. Not available outside the house for a week or two, I think, at the moment. But
10 days.
Yeah, we will include Lee's details in any of these videos that we post up on YouTube so that you can get a hold of him if you want to hire him. We will be back next week. Anna, John, are you committing to do anything in the garden in this coming week? Or are you like cats sort of sat on the doorstep again thinking, I'm not going out in that?
I'm not sure. I'll keep an eye on the weather, and yes, just sort of try and sort of clear any leaves, I guess, and just sort of check around and see what needs doing, and weeding is always the common job. So I'll probably be keeping that going at some stage, and just seeing what comes up next, I guess, and just hope it doesn't rain too much.
All right, nice one, Anna. What about you, John?
I'm not absolutely sure, to be honest. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. I'm not really sure.
All right. Well, we will find out in due course, and of course, we will be in the group. Happy Homesteaders, get out and grow. John, Anna, myself are there. Lee's often there as well, and doing some fantastic live videos on the group there, which is fantastic. Anna says, don't know the origin of the name of the Borda de Agua, but it's one of the oldest periodic publications in Portugal, still printed in a traditional way on machines. It has everything: advice on agriculture, weather information, jokes. Hey, John, we'll get some Portuguese gardening jokes, popular wisdom, science, and astrology as well. Incredible.
Ooh.
And this just in. Yikes, I need to challenge Lee on the no dig. Battle head to head. Anytime, she says.
I knew it would happen.
You knew, didn't you?
I knew it would happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you being a little bit challenging there, Lee?
People. There's opinions are split across the board with it, but I'm a Yorkshireman, so we like to grab.
Yeah, that's right. Not like these lazy no dig gardeners then, who like I said,
leave it feral.
Southerners with their no digging ways. Okay, I think that will rumble on in the background.
Yes, I'm sure it will.
Okay, fantastic. Lee, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. And get well soon.
Bye.
Take it easy. Anna, thank you. John, thank you. Thanks, everybody, for your questions. We'll see you next week at 6:15 Portuguese.
Bye.
Take care.